So what we're going to go over is how to add a new instructor to the retention and growth spreadsheet to track that instructor's cancellations, new students, and then their growth and retention rates off of that information. So the first thing we're going to do on the master sheet is going to be, I'm going to add his name. It's going to be Isaiah Garcia. And important thing to remember, as this note says, is the order of instructors here must match the order of instructors in the other tabs. So I'm going to make sure that Isaiah comes after Laura Spencer in all the other tabs. So I'm just going to go through the tabs, add him to the retention tab, the growth tab, and I'm just going to continue to, I'm just pasting his name in here. So going to the cancellations tab, this is a little different. I'm going to be adding him in 2 spots. So I'm going to be adding him over here in this column where it says cancellations by instructor. Okay, and I'm just going to put them in all caps because I guess that's how this is over here. Isaiah Garcia. I don't think that matters, but there you have it. So I also, after doing that, I'm going to need to add him to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 3 columns. So I'm going to highlight this column for a space, and then these 2 columns right here. And I'm going to go insert 3 right. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this whole 3 columns. So we're going to see Laura twice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to Isaiah. Garcia. And then down in this tab right here where you start to see these names, in this formula I'm going to change, let's see, I'm going to change a couple things. So I'm going to change the name right here. It's just saying to look over here to look for this particular name. So I'm going to change it to Isaiah. It's a hard name to spell. Garcia. Okay. And he doesn't have any cancellations, so that should be what it looks like at first. So over here, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy and paste this formula here. So we're in February, so I'm just going to copy the February formula over to April because that's all I have created so far. Highlight these 3 cells in Laura's name, and I'm just going to copy them downward by clicking this. So it just copies that the formula exactly as it is. But what we need to do is say here for February, what it's doing is it's looking at this column right here, AG. So that's Laura's right here. So whatever Laura's is right here, we need to change that for Isaiah. And we need to change that right here. So it's going to be AJ through AJ. And then make sure that $sign stays in there. So AJ, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing for March and for April. I'm going to click on April's, AJ through AJ. Fantastic. So 000, this is counting how many cells have information in here. So, or it's counting right here. If the submission month shows up, if February shows up here, then it's going to count it here. Okay, so that should be it for the cancellations tab. Let's go to new students by instructor. It's going to be the last tab that we need to look at. So we're going to do basically the same thing as we did before. Going over here and adding in his name under here. And then we're going to do the same thing as we did before in the cancellations tab. I'm going to insert 3 to the right, 3 more columns. I'm going to copy these as well, and I'm going to paste them. I'm going to change the name to Isaiah, and then I'm going to change this right here to Isaiah. And then just like we did before, this is looking at So it's February right now, so we're just going to start in February. I'm going to copy these down just like we did before from Laura's. And then I'm going to change this right here, the column that it's looking at. So this time, instead of looking at this column right here, AD, which is Laura's student start month column, we're looking at Isaiah's student start month column, which is AG. So I'm going to change that on all of these. I'm going to change that. April. All right. So after we have all of that set, we've added Isaiah to the various sheets. We've added his name in. Now we need to copy some of these formulas. So what I'm going to do is, since we're in February, I'm going to look at his count in February. This is saying how many students did he have at the beginning of the month. So let's say he has 5 students. He's just started off teaching with us at 5 students. So I'm going to put 5 in here because that's how many students he has in February. But for the rest of them, I'm just going to copy this formula for the future months, March, April, May. I'm just going to copy Laura's formulas down. And so that's correct. So this should be fine because he hasn't lost any students. So if he doesn't gain any students or lose any students in March, he will start off with 5 students, and that will be accurate. So after we do that, we need to add it to the retention tab. So here's the retention tab. This one, the same thing. Let's start in February. I'm just going to copy her formulas and copy them straight down like this. Okay? And so he hasn't lost any students. He hasn't gained any students. So he has retained 100% of his students. Same thing with the growth spreadsheet. Starting in February. Copy it down. He hasn't grown. And that is it. That is how you add a new instructor to the retention and growth spreadsheet. Another quick note at the end is with this chart right here, it's easiest to make sure, it's good to make sure that whatever color he is in TeachWorks, let's try to make sure that he is that same color on this chart just so it's a little easier to read. And in order to do that, we're going to look at one of the series. So I'm going to go to edit the chart and I go into series where it says apply to. I'm going to go down to Isaiah and I'm going to try to match his color, and he's kind of like a turquoisey in TeachWorks, so that's not really turquoise. It's not really, I mean, it's kind of like a, anyway, it really doesn't matter, but he's going to be kind of like this light blue color or whatever. Okay, fantastic. It's light blue color. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this growth spreadsheet. Let's go to series, Isaiah, color, kind of that light blue. All right, and that's it.